MLM Network Marketing Warfare Podcast, and we're continuing another podcast going in a different direction today. I love bringing MLM people on so you guys can hear the validity of the industry. And of course, all these shit ton talking trolls are still out there. We're watching you guys and we're seeing your obsession, and we're hoping the content we bring you still will just help you. So for those who have never heard the podcast before, the purpose of the MLM Warfare Podcast is I want people to discern the industry. Is it for them? Is it not for them? Is it the pyramid scam everybody talks about? I talk about my background all the time. I've been in it for going in my 12th year.
Oh, wow.
I was very ashamed of it for the longest time. I owned a gym and I was a cop and I never talked about it. And then when I decided to go full force into the industry, I had to go through the whole, you couldn't do it in law enforcement, so you got to go do the MLM sales scam shit. So I know how many people have this apprehension about getting involved in the industry, and I want to make sure that people know to get in properly and don't buy all the bullshit, pyramid scam, all that kind of crap. And we teach a bunch of that stuff. Today, we're going a little bit of a different direction. Today, instead of an interview, I'm going to get educated. I brought on Elle today. I'm going to tell how I get connected with her, and I know a fraction of what she did, and I want to keep it that way for a reason. Because she has a skill set that I don't have, so I'm going to do an on-air. She's going to educate the shit out of me, and here's why. So I go through the Instagram feeds all the time, and I'm scrolling through, and all those ads pop up, and I realized where my mistake was first. That thank God I wrote it, because it responded to our connection.
Yeah.
When the guy had talked about, he said sales or transactions, I thought it was numbers. So anyways, a guy comes through and he's talking about how to generate 100K through your social media. And I said, well, wait a minute. How come you don't have 100K followers or something like that? Because that's what I've seen. I've seen a lot of people who talk about Instagram growth, social media growth, but their accounts are nothing. I'm like, wait a minute. How are you? That would be like me being a personal trainer and being fat. That's the way I associate that. So that was weeks ago. You saw the comment, and you responded based off of what I had wrote, which is not what I meant, because that's what confused me. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? Then I read what I wrote, and I went, oh, I fucked up here. But so Tara writes, responds and corrects my statement on you don't need hundreds of thousands of followers to be effective in sales and monetary growth. And then I sat there, and of course, because I'm Italian as well, and I'm not about to be one-upped by no fucking broad, I went right to her. Oh, yeah.
And honestly, that is like the number one word that I cannot stand is broad. I don't know.
C word is my favorite, though, so we're not going there. But
okay, fine.
I was like, all right, I'm not going to be, I'm sexist. I don't like being schooled by a woman, right? People know that I'm friends with like Jesse Lee Ward. Yeah, I'm like, I'm very misogynistic, and I'm aware of it. So I went to her content, and I'm looking at her content, and I'm like, all right, 18,000 followers on Instagram, and then I start judging, right? And I'm going to tell you why I judged, because I actually looked at it more based on, well, here's why I judge is based on what you put up versus what I've been seeing from you in the background. I mean, like these are questions I'm going to have for you today. I responded back, got a little bit of pissy with her, gave her attitude, she gave me attitude back, this and that, and then I thought, because 99% of people do this, right? I go, fine, hey, do me a favor, why don't you come on a podcast and let's talk? And they all back out. She sat there and said, 100%, I'll do it, which now I'm going, all right, I like this woman.
Challenge me. I'm here.
Oh, dude, I fucking love it.
I'm ready to
love
talk.
I love it when a woman does that. So I'm like, all right, this is great. So then I start doing some more research. I'm like, okay, wait a second. I don't know what she does. I'm uneducated in it. And that spun into that, where I will give you credit, because you told your audience beforehand, is we both gave each other the same kind of resistance energy, but it was you. It was you who in a text message said, hey, listen, I want to apologize. It came off on the wrong foot. So you went the bigger person route before I did. So you get massive respect for that. I want to have a conversation with you today. I want to hear all about what you do. I want to have my audience experience what you do, find the massive value in what you do, and I want to really put you on a pedestal today, because I think after what I've seen so far, you deserve it. But tell everybody give a 360-degree view of who you are, what you do, and then let's talk.
Okay, so thank you, first and foremost, for inviting me on your podcast. I really appreciate that. Okay, so my name is Tara, and a little bit about me. I was born to a single mom who suffered from depression, drug addiction, all of that. I never met my dad until after my mom passed away, but she passed away when I was 16. Dad was never part of my life. Even after meeting me and all of that, we still did not have a relationship. So I've been on my own since I was 16. My grandmother, who was the only person that I had that was stable in my life, passed away when I was 10. And at the moment she passed away, I already knew that that was going to be it for my mom. 5 years later, she ended up passing away. So anyways, been on my own since I was 16. And I had my first kid when I was 21, moved into the projects. Now, even though my mom, we were on state, we didn't even own a car. We lived in a very small, uppity town in Connecticut. And, the white picket fence, the mom, the dog, the siblings, the everything. Okay. We did not have that. We lived in a broke down house on a garbage lot. Okay. It was just awful. I used to walk up the hill and wait for the bus to go before I walked back down to walk to my house. Very, very, I had a lot of trauma growing up. But the one thing about me from day one was that I wanted to live a big life. And so anyways, I had my first kid when I was 21, moved into the projects, and I was bartending. And I'll never forget the day that one day I came home and I was looking around and I was like, what are you going to do with your life? Because you're not going to live here forever, but you can't afford to, you can't afford an apartment right now because it goes by how much you make. So I put myself through college, worked 2 jobs, had my daughter. Mind you, her dad ended up getting convicted and going to jail 5 weeks before I gave birth to her for 4.5 years. So here I am with a brand new baby, no support. It was, when I tell you I've been through a lot, Anyways, put myself through college. And after college, I went to school for criminal justice, which is funny that you said you were going to be that you were a cop. But I wanted to be a parole officer. However, a few months before I graduated, the state of Connecticut started laying off massive amounts of people. So the only way for you to get a job, to get your foot in the door, was working with mental health, and I did not want to go that route. So became a property manager, was still bartending at night. I had my son. And I was like, this is not what I signed up for. Now I'm $50,000 in debt with student loans, and I'm not even working in my field. Okay, fine. So before network marketing, if you were not friends with me or I did not personally know you some way, somehow, I would not accept you on my social media, Instagram or Facebook. One day a girl follows me and I'm like, who is this girl? So I look at her profile and she had some cool things on there. So I was like, okay. And I accepted her follow and I followed her back. Well, after a couple of months of following her, she kept talking about how she was a 6-figure income earner, never went to college. And I was like, okay, clearly I'm doing something wrong because I did go to college and I'm nowhere even near 6 figures. And I will never even get to 6 figures working this job. So I asked her all the network marketing questions. Is this a pyramid scheme? If I stop working, am I still going to make money? And she schooled me and she's like, well, if you quit your job, they're going to still pay you? And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, fine. So I joined. And my thought process was, I knew people that from around here were not going to buy, and I knew they were not going to join. Very day one, I knew that. So I was like, well, if I could join this girl and I don't even know her, then that means other people on Instagram will join me too. And that's when I started this Instagram account. And so I quickly just got to work. I said, show me what I need to do to be successful and I will do it. I spent night and day working it. And I very quickly had success. I was making around $5,000 a month, I would say, after probably a few months. And I was like, oh, I finally found my niche. Okay, my niche, whatever you want to call it.
I never know. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So that was that. And then I had became friends with a girl inside of the company. She wasn't a sideline. She was on a completely different team. But remember back on Periscope days before Facebook Live, all that stuff. Yeah. So I found her on Periscope and then I friended her, whatever. We became really good friends. Well, in the company I was with, I had earned $30,000 in bonuses, but in order to keep those bonuses, you had to continue to keep on re-ranking, and they paid you over the bonus out over 24 months. So I earned the bonus in March, and then by October, I lost the bonus. So after that, my paycheck went from, $5,000 down to $500 a month. And so I couldn't pay my bills and all of that. And I will never forget that Christmas was the worst Christmas ever. I had to get gifts from the church, the kids' school, just everything. And then now it's January 2017, and I had to go to the state building to file for food stamps. Now I had gotten off of food stamps. I had gotten off of Section 8 and all that stuff. I literally threw myself off of it before I was ever even ready. And I feel like that's the only way. Otherwise, I would have continued to keep staying on it. Okay, fine. So that day I walk into the state building, I'm crying hysterically, hiding in the state building, hoping that nobody sees me in there, because I've been talking on social media how my life is so great. And it was all the way up until that happened. And so anyways, the day that I went in there, filed for the food stamps, got approved. And as I'm leaving, I get a message from her. And she asked me how I'm doing. And I was like, oh, great. Because naturally, we all say we're great,
Right.
even though we're not. It's like
Right.
a reaction, whatever. So then she starts telling me that she's not great, all this stuff. And then I was like, well, since you're telling me you're not great, I'm not great. Long story short, she ends up telling me that she found this company. It's a newer company. It's only been around for 2 years. They had an exclusive product, an amazing compensation plan, only 3 people at the top of the company, only 1 millionaire. So I was like, okay, tell me more. We get on the call with the number 2 income earner. Everything sounds great, but I don't have money to sign up. So I could have made excuses, but I was like, you know what? This is going to be huge. And I really want to be a part of this. So I got busy and I hustled and I sold things in my house for 18 days to come up with $345. I could have just joined with the $99 kit with samples, but I'm the type of person, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to go all in. So I joined, I hit the ground running, and I literally never looked back. After 5 months, I earned my first 5-figure paycheck. On my 9-month anniversary, I paid off all $50,000 of my student loans. I double ranked, was the only person in the company to do that, was 1 rank away from the top. On my 1-year anniversary in January, I reached the top of the company, was the first person of 2018 to hit the top of the company. And I went on to becoming the number 15 income earner of that company. Now, when I say all that, I don't say it to toot my own horn. I say it because here I am that had no mentorship. The only person I had in my life was my mom, who you can only imagine the money stories that I had being with somebody who we only got $500 a month from the state, and obviously ran out halfway through. And I just had nobody to mentor me. I went through life just trial and error, made a lot of mistakes growing up. And so if somebody like me could be coachable and could do this, anybody can do this. You just have to have the want, the belief. You have to be coachable, and you have to be under the impression that you're gonna fail. You're gonna be told no. There's gonna be things that happen. People are gonna quit on you. People are gonna cross recruit, take your teams, go to other companies. You got to be ready for all of that stuff. If you're not ready for some type of failure, you're not ready to be an entrepreneur. Everybody wants the big bucks. Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but nobody wants to do the work that it takes to get there. So
can we talk about that for a second? The drive,
Yeah.
Because there's 2 things that I want to ask. Is number one, you came from from a poverty mindset. When money started to come in, did it freak you out at all? Because some
No.
people do have that kind of like, oh my God, I've been broke before. I was talking to a guest a couple weeks ago. We were talking about how some people come in, they get that money, and then they purposely, or subconsciously blow it because they're used to being that broke. If you didn't have that, that's good enough for me. Second question is then, what did you do specifically to reach that top 15% in such a fast time? What were your days like? Because people will blow through and they're going to go, yeah, I hustled, I did this and that. What is that like? Were you on the phone all day long?
Yeah.
Did you cold call people? What specifically did you do to hit that success?
I did work super hard. I locked myself in my house for months upon months. I didn't go out and do anything because I was so dedicated to changing mine and my kids' life. So I didn't cold call, but anytime somebody would like my post on Instagram, I would send them the post and I would say, thank you so much for the love on my post. Are you interested? If it was a business post, I would say, are you interested in what I do? Or I would say, are you interested in the product, I would just send them the post and ask them if they were interested. And then there were people that I would go and I would purposely network with. If I saw someone that I was like, wow, she'd be amazing, I would reach out and I would be honest. I would say, you know, I came across your profile. I love your vibe. I didn't do that to everybody. I only did it to people that I would thought that would be good or I would want on my team. And I would just, you know, give them an invitation. I'd say, you know, I don't know if this is something you'd be interested in, or I would say, are you currently with any beauty companies? And I would just talk to them. See, that's the problem with people in network marketing, is that they get weird and they're like, oh, I don't know what to say. What would you say to your friend? Why do we have to get so weird about just having a normal conversation? Like, and that's what I would teach my girls on, like, just be normal. That's it. Don't sound like a robot.
I talked to the new people come in for, I said, for your warm market. What is wrong with saying, hey, Tara, I haven't talked to you in a while. Listen, I'm scared shitless to talk to you about something. I don't know how to bring it up to you. I'm worried that you kind of going to judge me, but can I talk to you about what I'm just doing? There's nothing wrong with having normal conversations. And I'm so damn glad that you reaffirm that.
And I would say things if I really, like I said, I knew friends and family were not going to buy or join. And that was like with my first company, it was a health and wellness company. But when I got with the beauty company, it was very exclusive. It was just like shampoo and conditioner. So it was something that everybody already used, and it was an exclusive product. So I would tell them, when I would started reaching out to a few select people, I would just say, listen, this company is going to explode. I'm telling you right now, I am going to become a millionaire. That might sound crazy to you, but I am. And I don't ever want you to say that I did not put you on, or that I think I'm better than anybody, because I'm giving you all of it right now. And you can start with me in the very beginning and we can run together, or not. If you don't want to do it, that's totally fine. But I'm literally telling you right now what is going to happen. And it did happen. And that's the thing. When you join a company in network marketing, don't just join because, the person that you're following, like, you're either pedestaling them or you look up to them. Find a company that, number one, you can get behind the product and you truly are obsessed with the product. That's number one. And that the compensation plan is amazing. Not all compensation plans are created equally. Everyone wants to think that their compensation plan is the best, and it's not. It's really not. So for me, I knew what I wanted in a compensation plan, because you do put in a lot of work. I never say that network marketing is easy, because it's not, but it is simple work.
It's so simple. Yes. Yep.
So yeah, that was kind of like what I did. It was when I would reach out to people that I knew, that's kind of like what I would say to them. And then, and then I would network on Instagram and I would make friends. I always say in network marketing, you are a professional friend maker. That is what you are. You make friends and you actually take interest with people. People can feel energy, and they know when you're just cold messaging them because you're trying to make a sale or you're trying to get somebody on your team. People that I reached out to that I didn't know on Instagram were people that I genuinely wanted on my team and wanted to work with. And so I taught my team,
How did you manage that? Because you've got a hard personality, meaning that you don't see the one of the struggles that I was in the first several years of network marketing is everybody wants us to be their friend, right? They'll come in and they'll do the industry, and then let's say, oh my God, Tara, my kids were sick today, and they'll tell you their excuses nonstop. And then the lesson that we learned painfully is we placate them just to keep them on the product or in the business. For the last several years, I tell my team all the time, I'm not your friend until you reach your first million. And the point is I want you to make sure that I work for you, put me to work. I want to hear how you manage your team, where you've got, if you're paisan, that means you got a warm personality, you're very compassionate, you're this and that, but this is business. Right. How do you separate the two by having that hard personality and you get the 80% of the people out there who are just complaining and bitching and moaning and not making money? How do you prevent yourself from getting sucked into that vortex of negative energy?
So with me, I have a very strong personality, but I am very loving. I'm a Leo, and I'm a Leo in every sense of the word, being a Leo. I have a big heart. I will literally give you the shirt off of my back. But I'm a no bullshit, type of girl, because the thing is that I don't want to hear it. Like my house does not move unless I move it. I got to go grocery shopping. I got to do the laundry. I got to take my kids here and there. And I work my business. So like you're literally giving excuses to the wrong person because I don't have any freaking help. So if I could do it, you could do it. And so I'm empathetic towards them if their kids are sick and stuff. Obviously, I'm not going to be like, oh, get to work. But at the same time, it's like, yes, I totally understand that. And we all need breaks and we all need to attend to like certain things. But I always say, like, you know what's true and you know what's not. And if you're lying to yourself, you're not hurting me. You're only doing a disservice to yourself by doing that. You know, yes, we're friends in the sense of like, we're friends, but I'm also your mentor and I'm also like your coach. And I'm here to help push you to your edges, push you out of your comfort zone. You know, that's why we get coaches and that's why we get mentors, because they hold us accountable. That's why, you know, when you pay for a mentor, which is what I shifted into, you know, the investment is because when you pay attention and you want to make your investment back and you want to take it to the next level. And so, you know, that's the whole thing, is that you need a mentor that's not going to buy into your bullshit, right? Because most people have the employee mindset of that you work and then you get paid. You work and then you get paid. But with entrepreneurship, you're going to work, get paid. And then eventually it's get paid. Eventually it gets to that point, but you have to build to that point. And, you know, I get everyone's time and energy is valuable to them. You know, you could always make more money, but you cannot get back more time. But that's why wouldn't you want to put all of that effort and time up front so that eventually then you can live a life where you have all the time in the world that you want. You know, people think that even, let's just say it took you 5 years
That's nothing.
to make $1 million. Let's just say at your job, do you have the chance to make $1 million by the time you retire at 65 years old?
No, most people don't.
And I don't want to work till I'm 65 years old. Like, absolutely not. And I used to tell people, you're not necessarily joining because you want your career to be at the top of the company or whatever the case may be, but you can work. Because originally I also got into network marketing at the beginning because I wanted to get into real estate investments. I wanted to buy and flip houses. And I needed obviously money to be able to do that. And that's what I say, like, what is your big goal? Like, if I, had this magic wand in my hand and I can give you exactly what you wanted in life, what would that be? Well, use this business as the vehicle to get the money to do what it is that you want to do. You know, multiple streams.
I tell people all the time, it's like I'm in radio, right? It's 5 nights a week. Radio doesn't pay the bills. But network marketing kept my gym open. Network marketing wound up paying for all the cigars I smoke. Network marketing pays for, myself, my partner to be on the radio every day. Network marketing is the path to me doing everything else that I want to do. It's 100% correct.
It bought me this house that I'm sitting in right now, you know? I that was one of my big goals. And I used to tell my kids all the time. And that's another thing because, kids like to, the mom guilt is real. And so what I did with my kids is that, we always make dream boards every year together. They make their own, I make mine, whatever. And then we make one as a family. And so back, years ago, like when they were younger and they couldn't understand that me being on my phone was me working. And I would explain to them, like most parents, they leave and they go to work and then they get out at 5 and then they pick the kids up and they come home and make dinner and do it all over again. I'm home, but just because I'm home doesn't mean that I'm not working.
Did you have a problem with that? I don't know how old you are. I'm approaching 50. And for me to make to make the transition from physically working, either I was driving a squad car for 12 hours a day or I was behind a bar or I was in the gym working, to transition to working on my phone, I felt guilty. I felt like I was not doing anything. Did you have a hard time switching gears to then virtually working?
No.
Wow. You just go with the flow wherever.
Yeah. I feel like because of my mom passed away when I was 16, I felt like I had to adapt to my surroundings because I never wanted to feel like I was a burden to anyone. I always made myself, overextended myself to people and always wanting to be the helper. And I do feel that a lot of the things that I went through in my life led up to where I am today, everybody would always come to me for advice about things and stuff like that. And not like, I'm not a life coach, but I am a mindset coach too, because I can listen to something that somebody says and I could be like, okay, but what I'm really hearing is that this is what you're saying. You're saying this, but this is really what I'm hearing. And I really get people to kind of dig deep and uncover all of the things that they've masked. A lot of people are not their true, authentic selves because they want to be liked, or they're worried about other people's opinions. And I always say, why are you worrying about what somebody thinks? Who cares what they're actually thinking? Are they saying it to you? If they're saying it to you, then that's different. We can deal with that a different way. But you're worried about what somebody's thinking in their mind when they read your post. Are you really going to stop yourself from living a life that you want because you're worried about what somebody is saying inside of their mind? Like, it's just silly when you actually think about that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
it's a lot of us are paralyzed off of it. And especially in the culture now where we're at, which goes into the conversation you and I were having about the liked and social media ratio not equating to monetary skill set development. That's an important thing that a lot of people don't understand. I want to talk about that for a minute. Going into that now, can you kind of sum up? Because I don't want you to give too much information what you do, because what you do is that's your living. People are going to find value in it. They're going to hire you. But talk a bit about what it is you do and why you transitioned to it.
So, okay. So I don't want to get into because we'll be here all day, but anyways, I was at that, company for a little while, and there was something that happened within inside the company majorly. And then I allowed politics and that big issue that was going on with the company. I allowed that to alter how I was feeling. And a girl that I became friends with ended up going to a startup company. And that was the first time I ever went against my better judgment. I felt that it was wrong and I still went with it. And that messed everything up. I was promised everything under the sun with that startup company, and I held up my end of the bargain and they didn't. And that really messed me up big time. It messed up my money. It messed up my everything. It just was a very traumatic time in my life when I did that. And I never forgave myself for that. I felt like I let my kids down. And then I joined another network I ended up leaving the startup company. And I went to another one because I will make more money with network marketing than I would ever get making a job. And I wasn't fully aligned with that other company that I joined, but I did it because, again, I could get behind the product, but I just wasn't wildly obsessed. And with me, I'm the type of person that I have to be fully aligned to be able to go all in. But I knew that I could do some work and I could get to $6,000 a month. And that's exactly what I did with that company. And so then at the beginning of 2020, I knew that I was going to start my coaching business, and I did. So I started right before COVID hit. And so I was doing that. I started the coaching business and I was doing that. And then we got involved with crypto. And there was this program that we did, and we made a lot of money with that. And then I was doing drop shipping, and I went back to coaching because I actually, with drop shipping, you run ads, people buy the products, and that's it. And that's a great stream of income to have. I teach people how to do that, but there wasn't a lot of human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And I was finding myself bored, and I actually truly missed. I think that's why I was so good at network marketing, was because, number one, I had a story around growing up with money, like I said, I always was adaptive because I didn't want people to think I was a burden. So I would never ask anybody for money, right? And so with network marketing, I was always good at building teams and recruiting because I was better at being let's do this together, versus I didn't want people to think that they had to buy a product from me in order for me to make money. It's a weird story that I had in my head, but that's why I was better at recruiting. So anyways, I missed that. I missed helping people get out of their comfort zone. I missed helping people start a business and excel and make money and see themselves in a life that they never thought that they could be, really pushing them and changing people's lives. I missed that. And so I started back up again. And here we are today. So I have one-on-one, but I only take a certain amount of one-to-one clients because I will never compromise how much energy I can give my clients for $1. I will never do that. And then I also do like group programs where there's more than one, obviously, in there. And I also love group programs for the simple fact that I love connecting people to other people, right? There's so many people that have met with inside my group programs that have either gone on to collab with other things or they were able to help each other in another way. So I like to be a connector.
We're big on that. It's called Metcalfe's Law. And that's so, which goes into what you're talking about. And I want to focus on that for a second. So many people who get in this industry, I have to tell them all the time. It blows me away how it's like you talked about something that I already talked about, but I don't explain it the way you do. Oh, I don't have as many followers as you do. I can't be successful. And I would try to explain what Metcalfe's Law is, which is even if you have 100 people in your network, and I'm one of them, and I've got 100,000 followers all over the place, you have a network of 100,100 people.
That's right.
So can you talk about how many people have the mindset of, well, I can't get involved in anything social because I got 300 people follow me on social media, and how that does not equate to, because you go the opposite direction. It does not, your social media value does not equal your monetary value.
No, it doesn't. And I always say, I don't want to be popular. I want to be paid. I always say that all the time. People get so obsessed with the vanity metrics of how many people are following them. And it's not, oh, I need this amount of people to follow me so that I can make money. They want that amount of followers because they want to look cool or they want to look important or whatever the case may be, right? And that's just simply not the case. Like I said, I had made my first million with less than 6,000 followers on Instagram. And it's about the quality of people, not the quantity. And if you're posting the right content, you are going to attract your people to you, and you're going to repel the people that don't like what you have to say, or they don't like your vibe and they don't like your energy. And so that is something that really needs to be drilled into people's minds, because even clients that I have that are making multiple 5 figures a month and have been consistently will still get hung up on, oh, only this amount of people liked it or this amount of people commented. And it's funny because a lot of people will go to my social media. And that's another thing too, where number one, my engagement is kind of low, but my shares and my saves are through the roof. The amount of people that save my posts or share my posts are very, very high. And my DMs are always filled. People are always reaching out to me all the time. So I don't get caught up with that. But what I was trying to say is that even people that are making a ton of money still get caught up on the vanity metrics. It's not about the amount of people that liked or comment what to validate you, to validate what you wrote or your post or your video. That's what you're looking for, is the validation. You post and then you keep seeing how many people liked it so you could get that hit of energy to make yourself feel better. Your content is not for you. If you are in business, your content is not for you. You are creating content to educate, to entertain. You're doing something if you're in business. That's what your content's for. And it's not about what can I post today to get somebody to buy today. What you're doing is every piece of content makes up the entire body of work. Every piece of content makes up the entire brand. And so then when your ideal client or customer or business partner or whatever industry you're in, when they fall on your page, they have a ton of content to scroll through that basically is your pillars, right? Your brand pillars or your personal pillars or whatever it is, what you stand for. And something that you posted a month ago could be the post that after they've been scrolling, they land on that post that you posted a month ago that maybe you got 3 likes on, that solidified and they said, okay, that's it. Now they're in your inbox. How can I work with you?
So you're sowing seeds with everything that you do.
Right. Absolutely.
Where's
Every single post.
We still see this instant gratification or the validation from likes. We see that. I was talking to one of my teammates the other day. We're like, they have the events every place has a corporate event, and one of the last companies that we were with was we couldn't believe how many people were in the industry that we had seen for a year or so that made absolutely zero strides whatsoever. No rank advancement, no this, no that, but sure as hell They love being up on a stage and telling their stories, or getting pictures with the top earners from mentors and putting it up on their social media. The vanity metrics he talks about, we see that in social or in network marketing all the time. And
Yeah.
people who make no growth from it, we see this paralysis of people who just want to be around the top earners. How do people break out of that mentality and say, all right, like when you, because you're 100% correct. Social media, like I have a YouTube channel that teaches martial arts. I make money off of that. People are always like, oh my God, you must make so much money off social media. No. Outside of my specific instructional martial arts channel, I think I make $100 off of the combination between, like, if I'm monetized on anything else. And I have a pretty substantial social media case. So those, you're 100% right with all those likes and everything. It does not work. But when people are trying to start out with this, and they have they have the 500 people following them, and they're trying to discover their passion or who they are, niche down, and they got involved with a network marketing or any type of business that's online. How do they blend or separate, or what direction do they go into where they're like, all right, I gotta make my audience grow or take advantage of my audience without now throwing my product there every 5 posts? This is my hair care product, my supplement, this and that. How do they find themselves and be genuine to attract the people they need?
Well, first of all, nobody cares what the product looks like. Like, that's number one. They care about the feeling that they're going to get when they're using it and the results. That's what people need to be focusing on, is how is either joining or buying going to change? What's their life going to look like after using it? So many times they're caught up in the features versus the results. And so it's okay. I mean, you should be sharing about your product and your service every single day. That's another thing. In network marketing, they're like, oh, you shouldn't be inundating people with the product and with the service. Well, if you're doing it the right way, you should be, because people
So
cannot buy
let's
from
use
you.
me as an example. So I've been with the same company since 2012.
Okay.
You will never find me and talk about my product online. Here's my mentality. My mentality is, I see 3 values, because I'm looking for you to correct me. I want you to educate me. I talk about 3 C's in network marketing. It's cash flow, culture, and commerce. The commerce is the vehicle we drive, right? The product or service that we wind up selling. The culture is, that's the personal development. That's how that's this kind of content. And then the cash flow, I've always big on, and I found my most success on selling the business by teaching people how to leverage their social media to make money, or advocating the culture. I have felt like a salesman when I talk about my product, which mentally for me, that devalues me. I'm like, man, all right, so here I am. I've been in documentaries. I've been on the news. I've been on, I ran for sheriff. I was a cop. I'm an author, radio shows. When I start talking to you about my product, you're going to see me as a salesperson for this company, and it's going to devalue me. That's legitimately where my head goes.
Well, that's also what they teach, that,
Okay.
you shouldn't be being like salesy about it, or posting stock photos of what the product actually looks like. But that's why I say you should be joining a company that you are obsessed with, because when I was with
I am
Air,
been on the product for 12 years. I love it. It's
you can
fantastic.
talk about it and share it without actually posting a photo of it. Like for me, when I was in the hair care company or whatever, I could put my hair like this, and I could take a photo, and I could say, like, would you believe me if I told you it took me 12 minutes to get my hair to look like this? Because one of the features was it cuts the drying time in half or whatever, and I didn't use a flat iron to get my hair to look like this. I just talked about the product, but I didn't post about
Got
it.
it.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Or people posting, like, if it's a drink, you could post it in the drink and be talking about something else, somehow incorporate something about the drink inside of the post without saying, come buy this product from me. You're
incorporating it.
It's becoming a part of you.
Yep. Okay.
That's what it is, And then the same thing about, like, selling the business. I could be, like, for example, when my son was younger, I took a picture of me and him, and he was sipping on his juice box or whatever. And I made a post, like something simple, saying, I have the best coworkers in the world. I'm posting that at 12:30 in the afternoon at home, we're in pajamas still, and I'm calling him my coworker while they're on their lunch break, annoyed in their car because they want to go home, and I'm home with my son, and their kid might even be in daycare.
Mm-hmm.
But I just sold the business without selling the business.
Mm-hmm.
You're
generating inquiries.
Creativity. And here's the thing is that not every post has to be like that. You have to be okay with talking about the fact that you have a business. Like, so yeah, you're going to make a mixture of posts. Like you're going to post things like that. And then you're going to actually talk about the business and why you chose that business, or why this one's better, or what they have to offer. Or, if you did X, Y, and Z, you could make $1,000 in the next 2 weeks if you did X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? Like, explain to them how they could get there. Like, for an example, like one of our things that we had was called blocks. So if you enrolled 4 customers and 1 business partner, just from enrolling 4 customers and 1 business partner, the least amount of money you would make was $350. So I would say, do you know 4 people, if you want to make $350 in the next 10 days, do you know 4 people who want better hair and 1 person who wants to make an extra $500 a month? I'm sure you do.
And you're doing that without making income claims. You just presented the fact math, because so many people are like, oh, all you have to do is they don't put in the caveat of, listen, this is a lot of work. This is the end result, but it's a lot of work. Your personality is strong. Your personality is big. Your personality is grandiose. You take what you want. What about all those people who want what you have, but they're too shy and are they going to succeed, or are they just going to fail? And do people have to kind of get out of their shell, create a different persona? I mean,
and that's something I work with. So okay. I always say, because, like one of the things that people always say is like, step into your higher self. Well, if somebody's an introvert and, it's something that weighs heavily on them because they don't have a big personality and they don't live out loud, I work with them on creating their alter ego. So if you can't see yourself as that person, well, let's create your alter ego. What does she look like? How does she dress? What would she say if somebody said this to her? And so then we get into that. And then when they show up for business, we show up as the alter ego. We give her a name.
Geez, you might be a perfect step into the network marketing space. People might need to stop with you before they do that, because what do we see in network marketing? People come in and they could see the goal. They know where they're going. They believe it, but it's that biggest roadblock out there is themselves. And I use the word alter ego as well, too. I tell my team members, like, well, what's your middle name? Well, so-and-so. Well, your middle name is your alter ego. Because people don't believe, it's like when the microphone is off and the camera's off, I don't talk. I'm quiet. I'm a very high-functioning introvert. But I know when this is...
Oh, my God, me too. I'm the same way.
Yeah, this is not a performance. This is just like an outlet is plugged in. This is who I am, but once it's done, well, I don't understand. Well, I think that you might have a phenomenal service that gets people from that. So before we continue, number 1, tell people where they can follow you.
You can follow me on Instagram, Tara, Tara, and then ELL, 3 E's at the end.
That's Tara Lee on Instagram.
Oh, it's not
Tara
Lee.
Elle. Tell her, that's twice I did. Tara Elle. TaraEllee.
Yeah.
Your social media, I want to come back to that for a second. Now I want to turn this on you for a second. I've seen you post. I went through your social media, looked at your stuff, and it's business. Then I started watching you post some of your personal stuff. You're a riot. You are loud and fun and attractive. Why don't you incorporate that into your social media? Why do you keep them separate?
Well, it's actually funny because I'm actually in a process right now where I'm trying something different. Because if you scroll back, you will see a lot of...
I had to go back pretty deep, yeah.
You'll see I share my kids and I've shared other things and stuff like that. So I'm actually trying something different because one of my mentors fully believes that they should be separate. And I don't think that they should fully be separate. I think that it should be incorporated into both. But I'm actually, the only reason why right now, if you scroll back like the last month, is just because I'm trying something new. And I'm a firm believer that if you want to try something new, you have to try it for a few months to see if it works before you say that it doesn't. So I'm actually just trying something out right now and seeing how it works. And then if it doesn't, then I'm going to go back to like what I was doing before. But I'm just trying something new. And that's another thing. People are so scared to try something new. What if it doesn't work? Then it doesn't work.
Yeah, I want to go back to that for a second too. Is it a prevention? Meaning that if you try this, and I agree with that. I've had to reinvent myself from when I started social media. First, it was teaching martial arts, and then it was law enforcement stuff. And people on my channel, they were like, "What are you talking about all this cop stuff for? We came here for this." And it took the nosedive, then it went back up, right? Then I spent years and years and years talking about law enforcement. Got tired of that, went a little bit more politics. What are you talking about politics? We're here for the cop stuff. And then it was network marketing. So you're 100% correct. And I never stopped. I never let my audience influence the direction I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that? Your stuff is for your audience, but if your audience says, we don't like this, go back to talking about being a cop. Well, fuck you. I'm doing what I want to do. How do people embrace that and not get scared off of changing their content?
So, I mean, I feel like there's a very like thin line. When I say that I make content for my community, it's like I'm making the content to educate them and to teach them, but I'm not making it for them, like literally in the sense of making it for them. Where like, for example, a lot of coaches will say, do market research to see like what type of program or course that your following wants. I'm not asking them what they want when I'm the one that like, I'm the one with the information and I know what people need in order to be successful. So imagine me leaving my entire business in the hands of other people and what they need and what they want. You get what I'm saying? So I think there's a very like thin line. Like I will say like in my stories, you know, is there anything specific that you guys want me to talk about this week? Are you struggling with something? I will say things like that, but I'm not going to ask them like how I should run the business. If I'm being the innovator, if I am setting the tone, or if I'm, you know, being the leader, you know, why am I asking people what I should be doing with my social media content? You know what I mean?
Right. But then you're not, then that's disingenuous because you're
Right. I'm not
catering to the
living
masses.
in my truth or my authenticity. Like, no, I'm not going to post for other people, because then that's getting back into the habit of thinking, you know, what are they thinking? Or what are other people going to think if I do this? Or what you're doing, that's what you're doing. You're posting and you're showing up in a way that makes you feel aligned and lights you up, makes you feel on fire, makes you want to, you know, show up every day and do what you do. So that's why, like right now, like in the coaching space, I'm pushing out a bunch of content right now that is educational, you know, storytelling, giving people value so that when they can come and get a ton of free value on how they can start and grow a coaching business. Because I also believe that if I was in network marketing, my content wouldn't look the way that it does. My content today would not look the way that it does right now. That's why I was saying, if you scroll back, you'll see.
No, you're attracting a different type of,
content was for network marketing.
You're attracting a different type of person. I think you are definitely in that position to where one of the biggest problems in network marketing is it's a conundrum, right? Because you need to be teachable and duplicatable. But then again, you have to be yourself. I talk all the time that I had the hardest time with being duplicatable because my mentors are quiet, they're this, they're that. And I watched Jessie Lee and I was pissed off that here's this younger woman who's just fucking raking it up and she's completely like how my mind is. And so I became me, right? I started dressing properly. I stopped doing stuff in my car. I did it in my studio. And my upline was telling me before, you're not going to be duplicatable. People don't talk like you. They're not in professional studio like you. They don't dress like you. And I went, that's the point. So there's the middle ground of people have to find out who the hell they are and express that and be teachable without giving anything away, because it's your business. And if people want you, they can wind up hiring you. Tara Elle at TaraEllee on Instagram, get a hold of her. What are one or two things that you would suggest people start on the path if they're like, okay, I'm in network marketing and I've got to create this persona of who I genuinely am to start delivering my story, what is one or two things you could suggest without giving the farm away?
Well, that's kind of a hard question because I feel like a lot of people, when they get started in network marketing, they don't know what to do or where to start, and they don't even know who they are. So they start copying what everybody else is doing because they don't have their own voice. And this is where it comes down to mentorship and having the right mentor. Really quickly, I want to touch on what you said about being duplicatable. Being duplicatable just means that, for me in my book, is that I'm going to give you the formula of what you should be doing every day and how to be doing it. But that doesn't mean duplicatable in the sense of the way you talk, the way you dress, the way, you do certain things. I don't feel like that's the right word for duplicatable. It needs to be duplicatable where you're keeping it simple and you're giving them the formula. But, if you don't want to dress up, you don't have to dress up. If you want to dress up, I'm not going to not be me because I need other people to duplicate me. You're not duplicating me as the person. You're just duplicating the work that it takes to be successful.
Yeah, I was told by people, the top of the company that I spend a little bit of time with, is you're going to scare people off because of that, and you're not duplicatable. It needs to be for everyone. And I was like, well, that's not me.
I personally would say, then if that would have been the case for me, then I personally would be saying, because that's another thing. In your content, you're teaching people, how do I say this? For me, I'm teaching people how to reach out to me. I'm teaching people when we work together, this is what it's going to be like. You're just teaching people through your content. So for example, if that would have been me, I would have made reels or videos or saying things like this. This is a very duplicatable, we have a very duplicatable system. And what I mean by that is, just because you see me dressed up in a suit and tie doesn't mean you need to dress up in a suit and tie, because this is my brand. But when I say it's duplicatable, I'm meaning that the system we have for you to grow your business is, you're going to plug in who you are. I'm going to plug in who I am, but we're going to follow the same system that it takes to build a successful business.
100% correct. If you can go back, I want to finish this up with a problem solving. What is it going into the last 2 years? We've seen network marketing explode. No longer do we have to go to the whole living room parties and get 10 chairs out of the kitchen and dining. Oh my God. People who are joining it today will never know the struggle we went through.
Oh God.
That being said, we're also seeing the industry is exploding, but we're seeing a lot of still get rich quick scams, shysters, this and that. And we're seeing a lot of anti-MLM people pop up who are shitting.
Horrible.
What is it?
The thing that pisses me off about them is that they'll talk so much crap about network marketing, and at the end or midway through their YouTube videos, they're talking about their code.
I know.
It's the same exact
I know.
thing.
Again, I keep referencing her. She's fucking brilliant. She's a friend of mine. But Jesse Lee keeps saying, imagine if they spent this much time in their network marketing business as they're doing that. What would you like to see, though, in the industry, either self-correct or change? What could be done better? Or what would you tell people to avoid duplicating that's bad in the industry?
I would say the copying and pasting of other people's posts. I can't stand that. Copying people's stuff. That's number one. You need to have mentors that are going to teach you how to find yourself. That is something I go hard about. It's finding yourself, finding your truth. You do not need to sound like me. You need to sound like you. So that's number one, is really taking the word duplicatable and they run with that word. And also, I think what needs to change in the network marketing industry too is the community, and stop fake friending and fake loving and all that.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, please go. Just keep going.
You only love me because I am I'm a paycheck. I add to your paycheck. But the moment that I leave, you hate me, you block me, you tell everybody this. And that's another thing. They're amateurs, because you're going to call me out by name and you're going to call out the company. And now guess what they're going to do? They're going to come look for me and they're going to go look up the company. You just told them what to do. Thank you.
Where did this shit come from? I couldn't believe it. I had this conversation several times with the people that I work with. We're like, I've never been a part of any roll call or anything in law enforcement or shift meeting back in when I was a young man working at TGI Fridays. You used to have your weekend shift meetings, all this. And I doubt any CEO of any Fortune 500 company goes, Tara, I love you. I believe in you. I'm going to believe in you till you can believe it yourself. When they're in that table, it's all right. Show me the numbers. Show me the progress.
Right.
What are we doing? Where did this disingenuous bullshit of I love you in network marketing? That is such a cancer because that's keeping people from progressing because they're just like with the vanity matrix in social media. They're doing the same shit in network marketing. They're staying with their upline because my upline loves me and they're a mentor. That shit has got to go.
It's like trauma bonding, like toxic relationships. It's really ridiculous. And that stuff needs to stop. Like it really does. You only like me or you because of this, or you're scared to say something to them because you're afraid that they're going to quit because you need them to keep on working. And that's honestly like the reason why I wanted to start my own business, because I'm a hard worker. You know, the reason why I was able to build my business and create leaders that were also creating their own leaders is because, you know, we tell everybody to bring your gifts to the table. And my gifts that I brought was, you know, helping people with their mindset and giving them a strategy. So I just felt like I wanted to start my own business with that. But I'm tired of the blocking and the this and the mean girl, you know, the mean girls crap. And, you know, I just wish that would all stop because, you know, they act one way to get you to join. And then also once you join, if they're very high up, then they don't have time for you. They don't get back to you. Then they don't have the resources for you to just stop that shit. If you're going to be in it and this is what you love, then make sure you have the systems. Make sure you're getting on one-to-one calls. You need to be getting on one-to-one calls. I'm not saying every day, but you should at least have, like, for your front line, you know, you should have one-to-one calls that you call, like you check in on them and build that relationship. Because let me tell you something, people like to burn bridges, and it's a the internet is very small, and you never know when you're going to have to cross paths with them again. And the situation is going to be turned on you, and you're going to be kicking yourself in the ass for being an asshole. And I'm just tired of that. If you don't want to be taking on people, more people, then don't enroll more people or give that person to somebody that wants to mentor them and has the time for them. I'm tired of people enrolling people, throwing them to the back and fucking saying good luck. But you've been preaching all day long for the last months about how, oh, we're a community and we have this and we have that. Like, it's bullshit. It's stupid. And people are annoying.
I am so glad we got in a fight.
Me
I am
too.
so damn glad. Holy
Best
shit.
ever.
It's Tara Elle over on Instagram, TARAELLEEE. Get a hold of her. We're going to have you back on because we have more to talk about, a lot more to talk about. Guys, network marketing warfare, the bull of MLM. I'm Dominick Izzo. I am the bull of MLM, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.